hello there.
Good evening. Hello. It's Bourbon Night.
That's
Did you know?
Chad and I'm Sarah.
It's true.
If this is your first time, welcome in. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
Let us know what you got poured up in your glass. We always like to know that.
What we have poured up in our glass is this Heaven Hill Select Stock. It's the toasted oak one, 123.4 proof. So we're starting off strong,
Now,
I would say.
Is it germane to tonight's topic?
It is, because where did we get this bottle, Chad?
At the Kentucky Bourbon Festival last
And
year.
if it hadn't been for that, we would not have gotten this bottle. We just happened, we wouldn't just happen to be there. We planned to be there, but we happened by Heaven Hill's booth, and there was a line, and I asked someone, what's this line for? And they were like, they're selling bottles. And I was like, I didn't know they did that here.
Interesting.
So we got in line and actually met some people who watched the show and stood in line and got ourselves a bottle of Heaven Hill Select Stock.
Hold on.
And it was just
I'm just doing a little audio.
not a happy accident, but it was happy and intentional.
Very intentional.
Very intentional. And it is delicious.
Yeah. Gramps is drinking our 4-gate pick.
Ooh, very good.
Good on you, Gramps.
Also a toasted finish.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So we have that in common.
We do. Ooh, that's good.
That's a spicy one to go in the night. Start the night with, that will wake you up.
I love how it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 123.4.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the reason why it's germane, as Chad says, to tonight's topic is because we have Randy on from the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. He is the president of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Mm-hmm. And we know a lot of you all attend or have attended in the past or want to attend in the future. You have questions about it, and it's grown and changed over the years. And we've, gotten to witness some of that in the past few years that we've been doing the channel. And yeah, we just want to get the ins and outs of this year's festival. And if you're not going to this year's, but you're thinking about going to next year's, you can learn about that too.
That's right. So if you have any questions about the festival or anything to do with the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, put them in the comments. We'll try to both listen to Randy and also keep an eye on the comments here. So if you see me kind of cross-eyed, that's probably why.
And if any mods see any good questions, just highlight them or make sure we see it.
Shoot them up there.
It's a festival of bourbon, Chad.
It
What
is.
could make us happier? The only thing
much.
that could make me happier is if the September weather would stop being 91 degrees.
You just never know. So
you never know. Sometimes
you never know.
it can be delightful, and
it might snow this September.
it's not going to snow.
It probably won't snow. No.
Yes, fingers crossed for a temperate mid-September festival.
Yes.
If not, I'll be hiding under one of the many shade trees.
We don't want it to be sultry.
No.
First super chat of the evening comes from Nick. He says, cheers to festivals, where we met you last October.
Yay.
That's right, Nick.
So many festivals coming up. It's bourbon season. That's what
It's
we call it. It's bourbon season. September and October, it's bourbon season.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it and welcome in our guest. As you said, Sarah, he is the president of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Please welcome to the show. I got to find the right button. Here it is. Please welcome to the show, Randy Prossy. And let me unmute you, Randy. Welcome to the show. Hey, Randy.
Hey, how we doing tonight?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm better now.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in this glass.
Yeah.
So I'm doing great. Doing
I feel
great.
left out. I'm going to join you.
Yeah, what do you got? What's in your glass?
Actually, this was one of our Peerless from last year, one of our barrel picks that we did with Kentucky Peerless. So, and it actually is it's going down tonight. So I thought this would be a good occasion to.
Bottle kill.
A bottle kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love to see a bottle kill on air.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That might be actually a good.
Ooh.
Oh, 109.9. That's a good.
That's pretty solid.
Pretty solid for a Peerless. Yeah.
Maybe a better proof to start the night at than what we picked, but also this bottle's delicious, so I'm not going to say anything.
True. But since you brought up picks, that might actually be a good jumping off point, because I know a lot of people who come to the festival, obviously, picks, we say it often, is like the new LE in bourbon.
You actually have hopes of finding them for a decent price.
Yeah. They are more limited, but oftentimes easier to find, depending on your territory. But there's often a lot of picks for the Bourbon Festival. So what can people look forward to finding pick-wise this year?
Well, and a quick little backstory on that. I'm always very open and honest. I was at Churchill Downs, and I really hadn't immersed myself into the bourbon and the spirit. So when I first got this job pre-COVID, I heard all these, barrel pick talk, and I'd go into the different retail stores to see barrel picks, and I started asking, what's a barrel pick? And the fact that the Bourbon Festival got to be 29, 30 years old technically without ever having done a barrel pick, I immediately set to changing that. So the very first one we did was with Maker's Mark. Rob and Bill Samuels have been such a big supporter of the new direction as we revisioned the festival that they donated a barrel, and that was our very first barrel pick. We went and did the selection, and we got 250 bottles out of that, and we're on the way. And I kept asking distilleries, hey, can we do a bourbon pick, barrel pick for the Bourbon Festival? And everybody said yes that I asked. And with the first year we had 12. Last year we had 20. When you consider that we did a Knob Creek rye and a Peerless rye for the little barbecue event that we tried to do in June, but we ended up with 18 last year. I think we're going to settle right around 13 or 14 this year for the Bourbon Festival, and we're still picking a few. We've still got we're doing Wilderness Trail on Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. If you've not done a Wilderness Trail, that's an interesting one to start a day off at 10 o'clock in the morning with Macaulay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And yes, have done, and yes, can confirm. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For sure.
And then we're doing one with Angel's Envy yet. And that'll be our first barrel pick with them. And so when we're all said and done, the really cool thing is in years past, we were partnered with a regional bottle shop, and you would either buy them from the store before the festival, or last year we sold all of them through one bottle shop at the festival. There was a tent, and all of our single barrels were there, first come, first served. The laws have changed in Kentucky now that allows the DSP distilleries to sell directly to consumer through their gift shop percentage. So this year, every single one of our single barrels is going to be sold by the distillery that we partnered with. So you're not going to stand in one long line. If you were here in the last couple of years, you're going to walk in, you're going to go to Four Roses to buy the Four Roses bottle. You're going to go to the Heaven Hill activation to buy our Elijah Craig. You're going to go to Jim Beam to buy our Knob Creek, and so forth, Rabbit Hole and Angel's Envy. So we think that's going to be, ultimately, that's where I wanted to be with this festival even before the laws allowed it. But I think it's going to be really cool. And we're the only spirits event of this nature that you can actually do that anywhere in the world. So it definitely differentiates us from anyone else.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I did not know that. Wow.
I learned something today.
That's wild and weird.
I think that's actually really good. I think some people might be like, well, why wouldn't I just want to stand in one line and get all my bottles at once? But, Chad, if you remember last year when we went, we walked in fairly early to the festival on Friday, and I was like, what is this line that's halfway across the grounds? And I asked, and people were like, this is the line to buy bottles. So unless you're up front, you're going to be waiting in that line all day. Mm-hmm. Not all day, but a large portion of the day, and that keeps you from sampling. And then someone could go up and buy, I don't know if there was a limit, but I don't think so. I think you could just buy whatever you wanted. And this method, I like that it makes you kind of plot your plan.
Let's be more methodical about it.
You have to choose the distilleries that you want to, go to. You stand in a shorter line, you get the bottle that you're really after, and then you can go and still enjoy lots of samples without being in line for, a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
Well,
interesting.
And the whole model of this festival from when 2021 was the first year of the new event, the new format, and this is the third year now of that new format. But the entire premise of this new vision was the engagement. You as a bourbon enthusiast being able to go directly to the distillery and vice versa. So you don't have to, and there's nothing wrong with the distributors and retail, but in this one little weekend world, you can come in. And the cool thing that we're really trying to emphasize this year is when you buy your bottles from whatever distillery of your choice, we're trying to make sure the master distillers are going to be there over the weekend so you can get a picture with them and get a bottle signed. And, that's one really cool thing is that we've got all of these master distillers within miles of the festival grounds, and they typically mark this as a calendar where they don't do anything else but come down to Bardstown. It's the bourbon capital of the world, and they will be doing many different appearances and signing bottles and talking to people throughout the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we love the Thursday night event, the Bourbon in the Air, which I think is sold out for this year, but I that's one of my favorite nights or just things of the festival in general. I think one, because like I'm not a creature of the sun, so I enjoy that it's in the evening, but I like that it's, everyone's fresh faced, like it's the first, interactions of the entire weekend, and you see a lot of, master distillers and things there, and it's, a little, not less crowded, not that it's overly crowded, but there's less people there, it's more sparse, so you kind of get more of that opportunity to have like a one-on-one interaction with the people at the booth. So that's one of my favorite events, and I love, like last year we got to chat with Bryn Elliott at Four Roses, just casually, and like, when does that happen?
Yeah, that's great. We're gonna have some. Sorry, Randy. We're gonna have some super chats throughout the evening. Yeah. So before they go too far, I want to make sure we get caught up on them.
James Wolverton, I was just thinking about him when you mentioned the Wilderness Trail pick, because we've done a Wilderness Trail pick.
We did.
With James Wolverton, so James. He knows it's a good time.
That's right.
He said, "Happy birthday and cheers to my favorite drinking partner, my wife Cheryl."
Happy birthday, Cheryl. Yeah, cheers to you. Well, happy birthday.
My wife's birthday is today too. July 20th.
Cheers to your wife's birthday, Randy.
I'm upstairs trying to keep the kids and the dog quiet while I do this, so I'll have to go blow
Oh, wow.
What a gem on her own birthday.
Right.
Tell her thank you for allowing you, not allowing you, but to, give us some of her birthday time to be on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
She snuck down here a couple of minutes ago. My Rick house, I call it, my whiskey shelf is sitting right next, just off camera. So she snuck down here with her empty glass and got a pour and snuck out. So we're not cramping her style.
Nice. What did you see what she picked for her birthday pour?
She actually took an EJ Curly.
Oh, we actually,
and then
you know what?
It's one of the bottles that I pulled.
That is, we only learned about them last year at the Bourbon Festival. That was the first time we had seen them.
First time we got to talk to anybody.
To anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, sorry, Chad. First time I had seen them. I'm not the most observant. So.
I'd seen them before. Back, before they were cool.
Before it was cool.
I was listening to them. Mm-hmm. But with this new format, Randy, and we should say this is, if anyone did the math at home, this is the 32nd, right? 32nd year of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Right.
Since the distilleries are going to be able to sell the picks at the tent, do you know, or do you think any of them will be giving tastings of the actual picks?
Well, that is a great question, and it's exactly what we are asking them to do, is to have a couple bottles designated just for pouring. So the DSPs, and this is a very important kind of who can and who can't. So we'll have 52 distilleries at the festival. All of the DSP, so like your Four Roses and the ones that are actually producing, will be able to sell bottles, and not just our single barrel. They will have other bottles, other SKUs. Some of the bigger, like Heaven Hill, might have 5 or 6 different SKUs plus ours.
That's how we
sell.
Got this.
And the NDPs, the smaller ones, or the ones that aren't, the non-distilling producers, are there to sample. So you will still be able to sample. And the cool thing that we're doing this year, and we kind of announced it last week, but for all intents and purposes, this can kind of be the main announcement. But Evergreen Liquors and Cox's Spirit Shops all over Louisville and all over the region that are opening a location in Bardstown on 3rd Street, 2 blocks from the festival. So we really quickly put together a couple of barrel picks with our NDP friends. So while you can't necessarily buy those from the distillery at the festival, you can sample that product and then go 2 blocks up the street and go buy a bottle directly from Evergreen.
Interesting.
And if you're in our subscriber base, let's say 28,000 and change, we will pre-sell these bottles so that we'll have an opportunity for people to buy the bottle online and then go pick it up while you're in town for the Bourbon Festival. So kind of an interesting little last minute wrinkle that we would been trying to put together for the last month or so. So DSPs will be selling. And, the law changed last year. And, the House Bill 500 and all the laws changed. And it didn't matter how old or how big the distillery was. This is a new law, and they really couldn't get their arms around, okay, so basically we're creating a gift shop at the festival. So they needed to have their POS systems and staffing and all those things. So not as many last year took advantage of it, but this year we've really been pushing it. So it's going to be very cool this year.
I'm excited.
Nice.
I think that's like a really cool thing, because a lot of people you know, especially like when we look at the VIP tickets and things, like there's such great value there. You get to do so much included with that ticket, but some people get a little bit of sticker shock. And I think it's such a cool thing that, like, basically by allowing the distilleries to do that, you're potentially also bringing the bourbon hunting to them as part of their ticket. Like the fact that,
Correct.
Yes, they can go buy your picks from these distilleries, but then the distilleries are also bringing other bottles. And like we said, we were just drinking that Heaven Hill Select stock. That is something that we would normally hunt for or have to go to the distillery for, and it was brought to us.
I didn't get one.
Right?
You missed
You
out,
mean you
Randy.
don't have that? Come on, you've got that pull, right?
You missed
You've got the
out.
pull.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
I'm always amazed. People are like, "Hey, Randy, can you get me this? I can't get this, Milwaukee or wherever." And I'm like, "You guys have a better chance of picking that up there than I sometimes some of these spirits, we can't get in Kentucky, and so everybody thinks I've got some kind of a magic wand to get access to things. And man, I've been shut down. I've been told no for like friends of mine to get in on a distillery tour. So I do not have that magic wand.
I do want
But you
to
mention VIPs. So the thing about VIPs this year, if anybody's following along, has been a VIP in the last couple of years, you know that we moved the experience out onto the edge of the lawn so it overlooks the craft distillery. So this year, VIP is the number one initiative that we had for this year's festival that we want to improve upon from last year was the VIP experience. So we're actually selling 200 fewer VIP packages this year. They sold out in 3 minutes on our pre-sale on May 10th when we went live. They sold out in 3 minutes. And so it's a larger venue, fewer people. We kind of upped our game with the catering. Instead of 2 bars, it has 4 bars. There's going to be a batched welcome cocktail when you arrive. The swag bags are going to be pretty cool. And all VIPs get an hour early admission. So that's really the game changer. So we're noon to 6, and then Sunday noon to 4. But VIPs, 600 of them, will get in at 11 o'clock on each of those days. And that's something that they've been asking for. And so we heard you, and that's part of the experience.
Yeah. Again,
Nice.
I think that's pretty great because, like, the added value that might not be necessarily like a bulleted, list item, but that will come with that is being able to get in an hour early and have to stand in a shorter line to get those barrel picks and to be able to get those bottles that the distilleries are releasing, as part of their gift shop before anyone else, before they sell out, potentially.
That's awesome.
And I think that's huge. Again, like that's a bourbon hunt value add to the ticket that you probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity otherwise, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, for anyone thinking, we're going to pick up bottles and then what do we do with these bottles for the rest of the day? We're just supposed to tote them around. You guys do have lockers that you can rent there on the premise.
That's a great
point.
point.
Because that's how my brain works. It's like, great, I'm going to be in there at 11 a.m.
What do I
hitting
do?
these bottles, and then I'm going to be carrying them until 6?
Yeah.
Like, no.
So we doubled them. Last year, we kind of beta tested that program. We had 120 lockers brought in, and this year we doubled it to 240. So those will be rentable $10 or $15 for the day out on the main lawn. And then VIP, obviously there's 600 VIPs, so not everyone is going to get a chance to get their own locker. But inside VIP, I think we've got 72, a little higher end lockers that guests will be able to have as part of their package. So again, first come, first serve, but it is something we're continuing to kind of enhance that experience. So
nice,
very cool.
Yeah,
I do want to
mention.
mention
It was an easy change too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're
fine. I just want to mention Michael made a good comment here that I just want to make sure everyone knows. He says, good evening, all of you wonderful whiskey folk. I'll be watching Whiskey Mountain's Alzheimer's fundraising stream tonight, so I'll be watching this on replay. Have fun, kids. Do want to call out when there is a fundraiser, especially for a good cause. And
we do love Adriana.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Adriana over there at Whiskey Mountains. So I want to call everyone's attention to that.
Thanks, Michael.
To that as well.
'Tis a worthy cause.
Tisn't it?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so you sort of already talked about how this year's different. Is there anything else?
It's new and different.
Yeah,
about this
new
year?
and different from last year.
Well, the two biggest things were areas that we've struggled. We've wanted to try to deliver them, but this execution-wise has been challenging. The first one was the food truck area. A couple years ago, coming out of the pandemic, I mean, we thought we had 6 food trucks coming into the festival, and then the transmission broke on the drive from Louisville in, and another one, the entire crew got COVID. So I'm down. That was 2 years ago. So last year we struggled and we thought we had a little better program, but it just wasn't where we wanted to be. So other than the VIP experience, the big push this year is to make sure we've got the best food trucks in the region available to our guests. So we've got 14 from the Louisville Food Truck Association. Again, if you've been to the festival, there's a St. Joseph's Church is right next to the main grounds. That whole parking lot used to be reserved for sponsors and for vendors and so forth, but we took that over, and it's gonna be full of food trucks and 2 big dining tents, a beverage location, so water and your other non-alcoholic cocktail drinks will be available there. We'll have a cocktail stand, non-alcoholic cocktail mixer out there as well. But that's really, 103 parking spaces is how big that parking lot is. So that's what we took over. So it'll be all the food trucks, the dining area. And the cool thing is because we use RFID wristbands, guests will be able to walk out a new gate that we're creating with Cutter Construction. You go and eat and have your meal and sit down and enjoy it, and then you just scan your wristband and get right back into the festival. So the food trucks area is technically outside of the festival grounds, but it should be a pretty easy flow that way. So plus, if you've gone through the main gate, the big rick house that we created as our main entrance, we're creating a miniature version of that looks more like a rick house for people. That'll be the VIP gate in the morning before we open to the regular guests, and then that'll also be the place where people flow back and forth from the food trucks back into the event. So pretty exciting.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
I can't wait to see it. Oh, and a cigar lounge. I know some people in the chat that would like that.
Mm-hmm. Is that open to everybody?
That'll be right inside. That's in the front corner of the festival grounds. And not everybody appreciates a cigar, and that's not just the customers, but also some of the distilleries. It's a very polarizing topic, as you can imagine. But Angel's Envy came to us a couple years ago, and they helped us get it off the ground, and then they weren't able to participate last year, so that cigar concept is kind of floundered. So this year we've got Angel's Envy back in. It'll have its own stage, so like jazz and blues music playing for the lounge area, and then Cox's Spirit Shops also has a smoke shop. They'll be there with cigars, and a new partnership that I'm really excited about is Deployment Cigars. Proceeds from those sales typically go to various different warrior veteran organizations. So we've been talking to them for the last couple of years. So you'll be able to come in and buy a couple of different variations of different cigars, enjoy it right there. We'll have lounge furniture, and it'll be a cool place to hang out with music. But Angel's Envy is really the anchor that it's helping pull that all together. So that's new for this year, and we're putting a lot of thought and a lot of money into making sure it looks cool and that it works. So
that's very cool. Us two also are of the crowd that we don't enjoy cigars, but we know lots of people in our community who love to have cigars with their bourbon, and so I think it's great that you're offering that in a way that works for everybody.
I mean, occasionally, very seldom, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, it's part
it is part of the culture.
Yeah.
Cigars and thoroughbred horse racing and bourbon all go hand in hand. We don't have the horse racing piece. We've got the bourbon and the cigars hand in hand at least.
Mm-hmm.
There's no horse racing, but there is a barrel relay.
There's a barrel relay.
There is some racing aspect, but
and I'm sure Barstown has a Kentucky Fried Chicken, so you can put the
it has everything
fried
that you
chicken
need
in there too, because that's the fourth ingredient.
Joseph would like to know if a map. Right, exactly. He'd like to know if there's a map of distillery locations released before the festival. So do you have a map available that people can access?
Yes.
He's plotting. He's planning.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that. No, we've got a general map that doesn't show the details of exactly where each distillery is, but this is where the larger distilleries will be, and this is the craft area. This is where the marketplace is. This is where the food trucks and the cigar lounge. We've got that very high level that will be out very shortly. It'll be on our website probably this week. And then if anybody who bought tickets last year knows that you get a mailer, a bubble wrap envelope, you open it up and there's a full color, like a folder that has all your tickets and everything in. The map will be on that as well. But I'm also working on getting that detailed It's a small venue. I mean, really, it's not, you're not going to like a 400-acre state fair park where it's difficult to find distillery A or distillery B. But I do know people still like to kind of plan that out. But all of the craft distillers are right in in a row, kind of a perimeter around the main stage, so very easy to navigate. And all of the larger, Wilderness Trail, Barrel, Lux Row, Michter's, all of them will be up on the main lawn, but very easy to see. But I do hope to get that detailed map out to everybody before. So sign up to our kybourbonfestival.com to be an insider. Then you also get those emails, and you also will get emails as far as how to buy those barrel picks we talked about earlier from Evergreen. And then fast forwarding, because my brain's already looking at 2024.
Of course.
Those are the people that will the advance notice about date announcements and when tickets are going on sale and those kind of things.
That's not a bad tip, actually.
Now, one thing you won't see on the map is where Chad and Sarah's going to be, because we will be...
It would be like the Marauders map in Harry Potter, just like the little footsteps moving around.
We're going to be there, but we're always going to be moving.
We're always on the move.
But, you can spot us, and if you do, please come say hey. Introduce yourselves. We haven't
Chad likes
met
attention.
Before, and I'll be like, me, no.
I try to blend. I camouflage. I try to blend in the state during that weekend.
I hear you.
You know what? Maybe I'll blend too. I'll wear a fake mustache.
Yeah, there you go. I do want to also point out that Joseph looks like Mac from It's Always Sunny.
Not worth an interruption.
in that little picture there. I'm just saying. He did. He does.
He does.
He does.
Anyways, you were saying.
I've got something for you guys too, though, when you get to the festival, because we do love our media, we do love our podcasters and all of our media partners. So we partnered with the Beeline, which is Northern Kentucky, and we're doing a separate media hospitality for you, air conditioned floor carpeting.
Oh, say no more. Bar. Say less.
You have your own catering. You'll have couches and places to hang out, but you'll also have tables and chairs if you want to interview people, or you just need a place to throw open your laptop and post something. It's new this year, but it'll look like a miniature version of our big VIP penthouse structure. So, air conditioning.
Okay, so maybe you won't see us out there.
I will be hiding from the sun in the air conditioning. If you can't find me, I'm there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, we will go out and about, but that's. No, I think that's really nice. It's nice to have a place to like go recharge, cool off, and it is, it's a 3-day weekend, 3.5 if you go to Bourbon in the Air, and it's nice to have, a place to step away and rest for a minute before. It's 3 days of tasting and talking, and it's a lot.
Tasting and talking.
It's a great weekend. We look forward to it every year.
That's what you should put on your shirt for next year.
Tasting and talking.
Tasting and talking.
I'm definitely keeping friends close and your bourbon closer.
And your bourbon closer.
That's right.
Nice.
Keep it close.
One of our KBF shirts from last year. But nice. A lot of people following us right now know Stacy Pritchard. Stacy was the manager out at Watch Hill proper in Louisville, and she's been with Evan Williams and Evan Hill. She's now my vice president of distillery relations. So one thing she will be doing is making sure all of these master distillers are getting trotted around to the different places that they can do appearances and signings or do interviews. She will be bringing them through that media hospitality. She will be taking them into the VIP. She will be making sure they get on the Bourbon 30 show, which Steve Coombs hosts, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's like the old retro 1970s Mike Douglas.
I know, I love that set. It's so good.
But
it looks so good.
It's a Seinfeld. Remember when Kramer found Phil Donahue's set in the garbage and he put it up in his apartment? That's basically the inspiration. I'm not going to lie. That was the inspiration for that set last year. So.
Nice.
That's great.
We speaking of a different Joseph Brazo here. With
all the Josephs be chatting.
$5 super chat. He said, if it's not an inappropriate request, can some of you do a quick visit to Whiskey Mountains to help her fundraiser? Yes, Joseph, we said, I think before you got in the chat here, brought attention to Adriana doing her Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Think of how to say that
word.
Massachusetts. There we go. I'm getting better.
He's getting better. We've been practicing.
Her yearly fundraiser, it's going on, and I know she typically streams, especially this one, a little bit longer than we will be. But yes, by all means,
make sure to go over there.
Pop over there.
If you have two screens, you could have us both up.
I think Brett said he was two.
I saw somebody two screening it earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We like the dual support. We support it.
Nice.
I support your support.
Thank you, Joseph.
I think
we pulled out our Bardstown.
We're syncing up with our.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got our Bardstown Bourbon Company. This is the Origin.
And I've got the Foursquare. And contrary,
nice.
Love that one.
I pay for these. I throw the credit card down. I don't get comps. So I'm a
Nobody's greasing your palms to get a better booth spot.
The business credit card though, right?
No.
Unless I'm buying it for an auction item or something. But no, I'm very careful about that. We are a charity. We're a 501c3, but a lot of people just always go, oh, the distilleries will donate that or whatever. So we do charge, I think, a decent amount of money for them to participate, but I don't ask them just to keep gimme. And I'm always very careful about that. So as much as, they're wonderful partners and they will always give, but there are times that I'd rather just be a consumer and not have, I don't want them to pull their blinds every time they see Randy coming.
Yeah. And you never want to stretch those relationships too thin, right? You want to keep them solid so you can keep doing this for another, it's the 32nd year. We got to make it to 40. 50.
Yeah. Infinity.
Infinity.
Yeah.
You keep making it, we'll keep drinking it.
Yeah, infinity.
And we did a program during the pandemic year. We did a virtual festival, and it's all on. We're on YouTube, but our YouTube channel has all of those virtual events from fall of 2020 and the Bourbon 30 show that we're just talking about, and those are all included in the price of the festival. So there are 12 or 14 different half-hour programs. They start at the 30 of the hour and go to the top of the hour, and we've got this really killer house band that plays. But it really is, it's cool because you get to see all of the master distillers talking, and it, it's a very competitive industry, but they're very collaborative too. So I love bringing that stuff together. You see one that stuck out a couple years ago. We had Conor O'Driscoll and Denny Potter sitting on the couch together, talking about the distillation process and everything. And again, they compete for every little quarter inch out on the shelf, but as the Heaven Hill Fire of '96 demonstrated, they're also very supportive of one another. And I think that industry is really, we have an opportunity to showcase that. It's about whiskey and the people who make it, but it's also about putting that collaboration kind of front and center on everything we do.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, current Heaven Hill and previous Heaven Hill master distillers, and current, previous Maker's Mark. I keep forgetting. Yeah, there's been some whole lot of shaking going on.
But I do love that industry because I feel like, at these types of events when all the master distillers and all the people from different distilleries who are essentially competitors in the market come together.
They're all friends.
It all is just very
it's like a
communal.
High school reunion.
It really does feel like a reunion.
Or summer camp. We often call things like this, bourbon
like
summer
bourbon camp.
Because not only are the master distillers and the brand ambassadors and everyone else coming together and seeing each other again and hanging out, a lot of the attendees are return visitors.
Like sometimes that's the only time they see each other all year.
Yeah, because they're out of state and they come in and they see them, and it's sort of like summer camp
It's
again.
a big reunion.
Yeah.
And the funny thing,
so fun.
And very humbling for me personally, very humbling. 2 years ago, I had a high school class reunion that happened to be scheduled the same weekend as the Bourbon Festival, so obviously I couldn't go. There were probably 15 of my classmates that came to the Bourbon Festival, and we kind of had a little mini reunion. Obviously they're bourbon enthusiasts, so they're out buying bottles and doing the whole thing. And they bought tickets. They wouldn't let me comp them tickets. So very humbling. The perfect strangers that come up to me during the festival and introduce themselves is very cool. But when you have people that drive, because these are people who are coming in from outside of Chicago, Milwaukee, they're driving 6 hours, 7 hours down to be with me for the weekend and hang out. It's kind of a fun dynamic.
Yeah, that's great.
Looks like they picked the right reunion to go to.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a good,
the more fun one.
Let's just lump these things together. Sounds like a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know that you have, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say that last year we were excited to see that 75% of the people that came to the festival were from outside of Kentucky, and the 25% that were from Kentucky were very, they're enthusiasts. And this year I just pulled a report, because I knew it'd be something we'd maybe want to touch on. But 85% of the people that have purchased tickets for this year are from outside of Kentucky, and 15% are from Kentucky. Kentucky is still number one as far as if you're looking at the top 10 of all the different states. But it's such a huge economic driver for the community, the restaurants, the hotels, and the street merchants. So, I mean, we're very proud of that. And again, we've never turned anybody away. We've never said no to anybody from Bardstown or Nelson County or from Kentucky. But we've just created an environment where the bourbon enthusiasts know that they're going to be there with their peers, and it's kind of a fun thing to see. But that wasn't always the case. That 85-15 split, it was probably more the other way. Where you had mostly local regional people and not as many from out of state. And we've kind of turned it in a matter of 2 or 3 years now. We've done a complete swing where people are staying in Elizabethtown or staying in Louisville and Frankfort, and so we're working with shuttles and some other partners to try to make sure we got safe rides home for everybody. But it's something very cool, but validating actually to see this play out. We've got all 50 states, Hawaii and Alaska.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what's the farthest? Do you have anyone has anyone come international? Actually, we know two people who will be coming international from Australia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had New Zealand last year. We had some from Japan, UK, South Africa. There was a group of 10 that were here. Now, to be fully transparent, some of them were here for, Kentucky Department of Ag had some kind of a thing that just happened to coincide, so they brought them. They weren't coming necessarily because of. But I've had communications with the Alaska and Hawaii and, some people from Toronto. They're coming at this time because of the Bourbon Festival. They're coming down and doing the Bourbon Trail, but they chose their timing because the Bourbon Festival is here. And that's playing out more and more also. They're not just coming for the Bourbon Festival, although that would be cool. They're either doing a week and ending their trip with us, or they're coming to us first and they spend the next week out on the hunt. So but it's cool. It's fun. It's fun to see it happen.
I know.
How much does the population of Bardstown grow during the festival?
During the festival,
well, there were numbers predating me, and this is 34 or 35 years that I've been doing some festival or event, and I've never got hung up on attendance, and they're usually overinflated. Well, there was numbers out there that said 50,000 people were coming into Bardstown for this. 50,000 people wouldn't fit in Bardstown. It's a town of 13,000 change. Our attendance, we cap off at roughly 6,500 because we want to protect the experience so you don't have long lines that you have to stand in everywhere you go. We talked about Heaven Hill, and those people were standing in that line because they chose to. They didn't have to because there was lines everywhere. So if you take 85% of that 6,500, that's how many people are growing the population for that short weekend. But but that's really, nothing worse as a festival goer to go and stand in line for 20 minutes for a meatball sandwich or whatever, or the pork potties, and stand and go endless sampling and have to stand in line for everyone. So we're very protective of that experience. We can just walk right up to the distillery of your choice, and within a minute or two, usually get a chance to meet with them and talk to them and learn a little bit about the spirit.
Yeah. Actually, now that you point that out, other than standing in line for that Heaven Hill bottle, I can't think of another time that we stood in line.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Well,
because if you walk up to a tent where a distillery tent and there's a little bit of a line, you're just like, oh well, you look 1 or 2 tents over and like, that one doesn't have a line,
so I'll go there first.
So you go and get that, and then by the time you're done there, you look over and that line's died down, so then you go there. So it's not really any big.
Right.
It's not rocket science. It's not rocket surgery.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
And most of the people that are staffing these distillery activations know about the spirit they're pouring, and that's a big pet peeve of mine. And I've gone to craft beer festivals where I've walked up and asked the person wearing this shirt with the brewery logo on, tell me about this IPA. And they're like, I don't know.
And they're like, I don't know, I'm just pouring it.
That's exactly it. And so we work really hard with our distilleries to make sure if they're going to go and hire a staffing agency, make sure that they do more than just put a shirt on. Make sure they know about the products.
Yes.
At least.
Well, that is much appreciated because, Randy, we've been to whiskey festivals where we've walked up and asked a question. They're like,
Truly, they literally have said, "I am just here to pour," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I learned nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong
Yeah,
answer.
so
Wrong answer.
yeah,
Right. Not what we want to
Totally.
hear.
I
So
mean-
that's very much appreciated.
yeah, very much. And just to echo that, like, you know, we're both Kentuckians. We're born and raised, and you've got people coming. Our dog.
Sorry, our dog is very upset about someone walking in front of her
walked by
house.
the window, and she's very upset right now.
God forbid somebody
But-
walk in front of the house.
But you
We're
got people
dog
coming
sitting.
to.
Oh,
you
are you?
Nice.
We're
nice.
dog sitting.
You got
too.
people.
So I was praying that wasn't our dog upstairs.
No, it's ours. She's never this vocal during our streams.
she's very upset.
She's quite
Chad,
you better
perturbed
check it
by
out.
something.
You better go look,
she's
see what's
fine.
going on.
Well, whatever she barked at has long walked
It's
past.
been gone. It's
and
probably a
she's
cat.
Still upset.
She gets very upset about the cats. So apologies for the distant barking.
But I was just saying, like, you know, because as you said, you've got people from all 50 states coming to this, and it might be their very first time visiting Kentucky, and here's a festival representing bourbon as a whole.
How tragic would it be to have that be their
someone,
first interaction?
Like, so tell me about your product, and they're like, I don't know, man, I'm just here pouring.
That
like,
would be so tragic.
that would break all of our collective hearts.
You might walk up and run into Brent Elliott or Chris Morris with Brown Foreman or Danny Kahn, you know.
Yep.
And if you ask Danny Kahn, tell me about the process, you better have an hour.
Do
Okay.
you have time?
He said, all right, so first you want to get some corn, some rye, and some barley, or some wheat, you know.
You gotta have this yeast strain. No.
And the pH of the corn and the acidity of the corn in the ground that is grown has to be 2 parts per million.
It's a yellow
But
dent
people
number
love
2.
that.
Oh, they
People
do.
appreciate
They
that.
they
You
want to
get
know.
that. If you choose to immerse yourself in deep
If
dive,
you choose,
man, there are people that will
yes.
deep dive with you, you know. And
Absolutely.
but if you just, you know, but I love that, and we've worked with the distilleries on that, and they take it seriously. I feel Bill Samuels kind of did a whole challenge to the whole Bardstown community and said, if you all are going to call this the bourbon capital of the world, well, then by God, you better look it, talk it, and walk it. And, you know, we've taken that seriously. And that's one of the reasons why Bill loves what we're doing, is because we do take it seriously. You know, we do make sure that it's more than just how much can you drink. Like, you know, beer festivals, again, I used to run beer festivals. If you have a 4-hour window, there's some element.
Oh, I've been to one of those.
You know.
That's how much
$75.
can you drink.
Yeah.
Can I get my money's worth?
I'm so proud of this, and I'm knocking on wood as I say this, but 2 years in a row since we've gone this new model, we've had 0 arrests. The police department has come to us and said, congratulations, you guys are running a tight ship. Everybody's got DDs, everybody takes turn, you know, safe rides. I'm very proud of that. And then I just had a conversation with the state ABC, and they're not in the business of handing out compliments. But I mean, something to the effect of the Bourbon Festival, they're so pleased with our operational plan that they're kind of using us as the gold standard for other events in Kentucky that are having spirits.
Wow.
Look to what the Bourbon Festival is doing. So it is a lot of fun, but we also behind the scenes, and hopefully people don't feel it, but we're very serious about how we manage it and make sure people are having a good time so they can get home safely and come back and see us again and bring some more friends.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think it speaks to the community too, because I mean, we see this a lot, like with our community. They're there to taste and learn and be educated and explore and discover. The name of the game is not how drunk can we get. Like, I have not encountered anyone personally at the Bourbon Festival ever that is their goal, is just like, how much can I drink?
That I would call overserved.
Correct. Yeah, right, exactly.
yeah,
Now, I
that's
mean,
great.
I'm sure, you know, everyone indulges, some none or less and some more, but I've never had that type of experience. But
Yeah.
if you, as we're kind of ending our time,
Sure.
if you had any 1 or 2 tips, or maybe it's a hack.
Yeah, we did have a question
Oh.
specifically about parking for a first timer.
Okay, so tips could include parking, or tips and tricks, or little known things, or Randy's secrets. It doesn't have to be a secret, but whatever, you know, for someone who's coming this year for the first time,
We want an exclusive.
or, you know, people who have been before but maybe haven't been in a while. What are your can't miss or definitely do this things?
Well, and that's it's funny because we do have people that, oh yeah, we were at the Bourbon Festival in 2018. I'm like, okay, I get the Men in Black, the little black the strobe light pen. It makes people forget what their experience
the flashy thing.
Other than the bourbon barrel relay that you mentioned earlier briefly, which is on Saturday, other than that, there's nothing with this Bourbon Festival that is carried over. We had car shows and hot air balloon glows and pancake breakfasts and golf tournaments and square dancing off-site, but you had no bourbon at the Bourbon Festival. You had to go somewhere else to drink bourbon. So that entire model was flawed. So I would say when people that feel like they've been there come in with an open mind, know that it's entirely different. You don't necessarily need to get there and stand in line for that hour, unless you're focused on getting a single barrel and you want to have right of first refusal on that. But it's all weekend. It's come and go with the RFID wristbands. You can come in, hang out for an hour or two, get a lay of the land, go do a distillery tour, go eat, have some fun, shop, and come back, and it's no problem. And that's really what we're trying. With us closing at 6:00, we're trying to have at least the 9 distilleries that are closest to Bardstown. They're doing evening events now. So while you're in town, we give you the festival experience. Go back to your hotel or Airbnb, shower up, and go out and have a good time with one of the distilleries that are in the area. And so that's probably the first thing I would do is tell people if they're coming in for the weekend, it's not a sprint. You've got all weekend. It's a small venue, very small. I mean, you can walk from one end to the other in 5 minutes. I mean, it's just a very densely populated. We have a lot. We have 52, I think, was the last count, distilleries all in that area, and they're all friendly. So come in, but go in it for the long haul. Don't feel like you have to elbow in and try to race around and grab everything. And the other part is, stay hydrated. It usually is in the mid 80s, and then magically the following weekend it's 70 with overnight lows in the 50s. But
magically, that's why I said before, fingers crossed for that perfect temperate fall weather mid-September. Fingers crossed. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
But but the behind the scenes stuff, porta potties and water. That's the things that give me hives.
Don't get those two mixed up.
I know.
This is what keeps Randy up at night. But someone has to think about it, because if they didn't think about it, then everyone would be thinking about it.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And
thanks for thinking about it, Randy.
Oh, I do. That's the 3 a.m. wake up too. I just, somebody's got to do it. But so there was a festival in August a couple years ago that was really hot, and they ran out of water and long lines and all that. So the next day, I ordered $10,000 palletized water bottles to make sure we had water. So that is something important, especially when you're consuming alcohol, the hydration and the food, and take time in between. The marketplace is full of 40 plus really cool vendors. So take some time and check them out. But make it a weekend. It's a park-like setting. You're not out in the middle of some big nondescript hayfield or the fairgrounds with no shade, or it is something you can really cool kind of walk through and hang out, and hopefully that's coming through in our message. But for next year, the other little hit is get on our e-blast. Sign up to be a Bourbon Insider. We had 4,400 people a year and a half ago, and we're over 28,000 now. So definitely sign up for that if you're not coming this year, but you're interested and you want to make sure you get tickets, because this will sell out. We're on a pace to sell out probably in about 10 days, maybe 15 days. But get the insider piece, and you'll get notifications, and you'll know what distilleries are coming in, and this evergreen single barrel package that we're going to be selling. You'll be the first one to get in on that kind of stuff. So, but I don't know if there's any hacks. It's just come in and hang out with us for a while. It's the bourbon capital of the world. How much better can that be?
Yeah.
Seems like an opportunity for a video. 5 Bourbon Festival hacks. Obviously, it wouldn't be anything that's against the rules, but it would be a tips and tricks for making your way.
It's not going to be, we found this hole in the chain link fence. So if you
no.
Won't be like that.
It would be something like what Joseph number 1. I'm sorry, there's no Joseph number 1 and number 2, but Joseph, who asked first question earlier about the map. So I think a tip and hack could be to look out for your map, and then plan. Again, with this new system, make sure you know your game plan. Have a game plan in advance.
For sure.
get VIP tickets if you can, because air conditioning is delightful on those hotter weekends. Sometimes
Indeed.
it's not, but
yeah.
Anyways, things like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's not. Who knows?
We've done.
I feel like we have an inside scoop though.
Yeah, a little bit. We've done several videos about the festival before. I think one of our latest one is I think it was 9 craft distilleries that we got interviews and kind of
very nice that they're all right there.
That was one of our latest ones.
And that's very cool.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You've always been good supporters, and you go to New Orleans to their bourbon festival, and I go down there and kind of check you out from the back of the room. And I like going there just because I don't have to be on point. I don't have to carry a radio and answer questions.
You get to actually go to a festival.
Enjoy the festival.
Yeah. No, thank you for putting together an event that we can get such good content at and have the opportunity to talk to so many people. But for those folks who want to go this year, what tickets are still available and what are the dates? Because I realized we did not talk about that.
And I would not let you end it without getting the website and the dates in there, so don't worry about that.
Thank you.
September 15th, 16th, 17th is the main festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with Bourbon in the Air, as you talked about, on the Thursday the 14th. It is mostly sold out between VIPs, and then it's an industry night, so it's kind of our soft opening. But the 15th, 16th, and 17th, you can still get 3-day packages. You can, especially if you're in the area and you're not traveling and worrying about hotels and so forth. You can get a Sunday sampler. It's from noon to 4, $95. You can come in and have access to the whole program. All the information is at kybourbonfestival.com. Sign up, follow us on all the social media. You'll get all the updates, especially now that we're getting into August. We're going to start kind of giving some love to all the distilleries that'll be there and some of the special things that we're going to announce over the next couple of weeks. So if you can't make it this year, man, check us out on our YouTube channel. Follow YouTube. I mean, listen and follow some of the content you're putting up there, because more and more every year there's new people that are like, it's becoming a bucket list piece, and I'm very proud of that.
For sure. Yeah.
One quick question as we talk about, like, as you said, more information coming out as we go into August. Hugh asked if there's anywhere that describes, like, the sessions and the classes that are, being hosted and the prices.
There is, and thank you. You asked about tickets. So there are some premium education classes available, like limited to 25 people. It's up in our new, renovated space. We didn't even get on that, but there should be through our website, and then Tixar, TIXR is our box office partner. You can go on there, and I believe on their website still show, even if it's sold out, it has a little description on what it was really going to be about, like a chef or a cocktail mixology class. And the ones that are still available are definitely on there. So you should be able to click through to our website and click through into our box office and get those descriptions.
Nice.
Great.
Now, Randy, just last thing. I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna. You said the 9.
I don't know what he's gonna say.
Said the 9 closest distilleries to Bardstown. Name those distilleries.
Oh man. Okay. So Preservation,
Chad.
Dance Crossing, Log Still. We've got Four Roses, Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Lux Row, Bardstown Bourbon Company, Willett. Who am I forgetting? Bardstown Bourbon Company. Did I say that already?
You did.
And there's, who am I missing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You said
Heaven Hill. My God, Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill. That's what I thought. I was like, did he say Heaven Hill?
Yeah.
Honestly,
the biggest family-owned distillery in the world, or in the U.S.
Yeah.
Chad gets $5 every time he says that. I'm just kidding.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
I was starting close and going out. I drive to all of them all the time. I'm like, who did I forget? And
honestly,
that was impressive.
It was impressive. Oh, in no particular order. That was impressive. Yeah. I didn't know he was going to put you on the spot like that, but
as soon as you said it, I was like, I want to know.
A++.
Well, I could imagine.
And after having an hour's worth of bourbon,
the people were thinking like, oh, what are the 9 closest distilleries to Bardstown? I mean, some of those that you mentioned, Heaven Hill included, are in Bardstown. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like the people to know before we say goodbye?
Oh gosh, my brain is like throbbing. I don't know. I mean, again, the VIP, the cigar lounge. I mean, when you're there, if you've been there before, every year it's slightly different, and we hope it's improved. So if someone's like, "Oh, I was there last year, maybe I'll come in a couple of years," we are continuing to listen to people to say what they want their experience to be like, and we're just kind of sitting back and thinking like, what do we want to deliver for people? And so I really like to think if you came to this festival 5-6 years ago, you're drastically in for a new experience. If you were here a year or two ago, or even last year, you're going to notice some improvements, I hope. And and we've had just a sideline. I don't know if my barrel head somewhere. I've got a barrel head with the 11 distilleries that were participating in 2019. If you think about that, just right pre-pandemic, we went from 11 to 34 in 2021 to 48 last year, and we're somewhere between 52 and 54. It's kind of a chess game. We have a waiting list this year, so we're trying to accommodate. But to go from 11 in 2019 to really 54 or 55 distilleries, half of them are craft. We never included craft distilleries previously. So, I mean, if you're coming in and you visually want to see your Four Roses and Heaven Hill and Maker's Mark and Beam, they'll be there. But if you're really trying to discover a new label or a new producer, we've got them too. 26 craft distilleries that really normally aren't out elsewhere because they can't afford to, they don't have the staffing to do it. And we price our packaging to make sure that the cost of being involved isn't the hurdle that's going to prevent someone from being there. If they want to be in here, we will figure out a way to make them be a part of this. So the consumers at the end of the day is the one who really wins. So it's pretty cool. So our distillery page is updated on the website. So if anybody's curious, go to KBourbonFestival.com and look at the Distillers Row. It might just be kind of a mashup like NASCAR looking with all the logos, but at least at a glance it kind of gives you a sense of what we're trying to put together for everyone.
Yeah, you can see who's participating.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening. We will let you get to your wife's birthday, but we appreciate your time and giving us and our audience, the scoop on this year's Bourbon Fest.
So I can say, light the candles, I'm coming up.
You can.
Happy.
Oh, no, you don't want us to sing. They might like for Chad to sing, but not me.
Yeah. Oh. Cheers, Randy.
I've enjoyed getting to know you a little bit over the years, and this year, let's ramp it up. Make sure you find me and spend some time with me.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
We'll track you down.
We're planning on it.
Thanks
All
for
right. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too, Randy. Thanks so much.
See you in September.
Yes. 54 days.
54 days.
54 days.
All right. Thanks, Randy. All right, folks.
I love how much feedback plays a role in their process. Like they hear from people.
That's really good to see.
Because some people get very, touchy about when you put so much into something, and then you get feedback that says like, "Oh, I didn't like this or that." People get a little touchy sometimes,
especially when it's the premier Bourbon Festival. I mean, 32 years. Can't think of anyone else who's been doing it longer than that in bourbon.
But I just like that.
Yeah, it's great.
They said, you need this, so they did it, and you need that. So if you do go and you think there needs to be, improvements or whatever, send gentle feedback. We always like gentle feedback.
Yeah. Since
you didn't say that, but I'm saying that because nobody likes to be yelled at in an email.
Sure.
That's not how you catch.
Anything. Since year 30, year 30 was the year that it really kind of took on
it was like
sort of a new form.
Back in action from COVID.
It was a renaissance.
Of such.
And here in year 32, we can see that initial evolution that happened in year 30 and then 31 last year, and then now hearing about what 32 is going to be like. It's a living organism, right?
Yeah, it's growing and changing along with the community.
And that's awesome.
I mean, as two people who had attended pre-COVID, I can say for sure that it has absolutely changed, like 100%, as he was saying. Like, there's almost nothing the same as it was before, except for the barrel relay race. And I think a part where somebody like deconstructs and constructs a barrel. I think I saw that.
Oh, right.
And we had seen that before. But other than those things, I remember we went before we had never been, and we went in like 2018 or 2019, and we were like, why is there no bourbon? and now there's all the bourbon.
Now it's bourbon.
Like, I wish, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it.
Oh man. Yeah. So what you kind of expect when you walk in, you get You get a Glencairn there. It has their logo on it. It's yours to keep.
Yes, we got a tiny Glencairn.
You walk around, so it's not, some places may have the little plastic cups. It's sort of, I think, the distilleries.
Sure.
But we always...
Well, we got it last year.
To keep ourselves hydrated between tastings, right? We always pour water into our Glencairn, swish it around, drink it.
We also drink other water that's not just Glencairn swish water.
But then you're cleaned out for your next one, and it's a nice little keepsake after that. So that's sort of, not that it's revolutionary, but that's sort of been our method, right? Going through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that up there so everybody can see it.
Yeah, just a reminder again, the after show with Whiskey Mountains.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, for the fundraiser there, the yearly fundraiser.
Yep.
With Adriana. Go check it out, please. We'll be heading over there ourselves.
There as well. Yeah, honestly, it's 9:00 right now, and I know we could continue talking and wrap up maybe with another pour, but I actually don't want to take anything away from her. I really just want to send people over there.
For sure, yeah.
We'll be back next weekend with more stuff,
And we hope to see you at the Bourbon Festival, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
I mean, we see so many of our people there, and we love it.
To hang out. We have usually a mini meetup, or I guess we call it a full-on meetup.
I mean, I guess usually we'll just put something out and say, hey, who's going to be there? If you're going to be there, let's meet at the the cocktail tent, order your cocktail tent from this time to this time, and we'll all just say hi and we'll hang out and have a drink. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're gonna be there, if you see us there, say hey, we like it. It's not weird. Don't think it's weird. It's not weird. Just be like, hey, we like it. It makes us feel good to see the. Right now, I'm looking into a camera lens. I look in one eyeball, which is that camera. I'd like to look into your real eyeballs. I know that's weird, but I'd like to and say thanks for watching the show. I want to see your eyeballs. Yeah. Show me your eyeballs. All right, I think that does it.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably where we should leave it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Reminder, again, hop over to Adriana over at Whiskey Mountains for her fundraiser and give her your support, please. We'll be doing that ourselves. We will see you next Sunday.
Question mark?
No, we will. Sure. We will see you because the thing says so.
It says so.
So we will see you then. Thanks so much for joining. Until then, we'll see you at the Bourbon Festival.
Bye.